Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide, a third successive Betfred-sponsored headline card. Haydock Temple Stakes a fortnight ago, the Betfred Derby Festival last week. And again, Jason, we're at Haydock. It's non-stop for the Betfred train. We've got loads to look forward to this weekend with a John O'Gaunt on the headline.
Yeah, it's a really good card, and hopefully we're going to have much quicker conditions this time around, aren't we? You know, they've got a lot of ground there, so they'll be using different tracks and hopefully fresh strips. And yeah, we certainly do take it up a notch for the Saturday card. Massive amount of money on offer, and some good names, the likes of Old Jumbie, of course, who's bidding to go back to back.
Yes, let's start with one of those big names then in the 150, the first race, the Betfred Achilles Stakes. Living the Dream, the none-thought winner from last year. A really good second, the Betfred Temple. He's back to Haydock 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and I think that he probably just got caught out by a little bit of match fitness, but also the ground as well. You know, we were both there 14 days ago, and he ran an absolute stormer. Just slightly quicker conditions are going to play to his strengths. You've got a couple of horses on the recovery. Marshman looked really good at Doncaster, and he hasn't quite lived up to that since. And I'm hoping that Democracy Dilemma, who looked all over the winner, didn't he, in the dash at Epsom, but he ended up getting gubbed very, very late in the day. I'm hoping him and also T-Spirit don't get in a bit of a battle with Living the Dream, because that would be the worry. But he's so quick out of the gates that I think he should be able to dominate.
Yeah, Living the Dream should be able to. Just quickly before we move on about Marshman. I mean, look very promising sprinter a couple of years. He got second on his return at Doncaster, but out with the washing twice since. I mean, what do you do with him now?
Yeah, the run at Doncaster, really good. He looked all over the winner, and he ended up getting nailed, didn't he, by the Haggis runner late in the day, Montasib on that occasion. And yeah, he has gone missing. Look, they're coming back down in trip. I think they'll be really aggressive with him, and he could be much better than where he is at the moment. You know, Pink Crystal is an improver, and also Believing down the bottom. The last time we saw her, that was up in Group 1 company over in Hong Kong. So a real drop down the ladder. But yeah, Marshman, you are guessing as to which one is going to turn up. Living the Dream, though, will ping along.
Right, let's move on to the 225, then a 1.5 mile handicap. Betfred play Fred's 5 million a handicap, and 9 set to go. And Maglar, good winner at Goodwood, disappointing the Zetland Gold Cup last time. He needs to bounce back. Blinkers on for the first time.
Yeah, and he was caught wide in the Zetland Gold Cup, wasn't he? You know, he was always out there. Then the jockey took back to get in. But you feel it was more than that because they reached for the headgear. He's out of a really good mare that they've done incredibly well with, Ganati, who was also a rocket ship for the team. But I had a look at his overall stats. He started favourite on 4 of his 7 lifetime races, and he's likely to be towards the top of the market again. I think there'll be a fair gallop on in here. I'm fascinated to see if Wise Eagle can bounce back. Knightswood was arguably unlucky last time. That's one that the jockey will wish to forget at Doncaster last time. But I will say Iron Lion. Who do you want on your side when you've got a hold-up performer? The Iceman, Jamie Spencer. He'll be sat on him, waiting to come through with the late challenge. And I've still got it fresh in my mind how good he looked at Doncaster. Now, here's one for you. He once, or so far, slight bit of softer ground has seen him at his best, but he's still lightly raced, and I think he's improving.
Yeah, just reliving Jamie Spencer off the front end at Epsom. I mean, he has got a great clock in his head. It's not all about holding him up, is it?
No, he was absolutely brilliant on the Cole runner, wasn't he? And yeah, he looked like, he said the train had left the station and I was just a passenger early. He was hanging on, but saved a little bit up his sleeve.
Right, let's move on to 3 o'clock then, the fillage in action for the Betfred Nifty 50. Leicester Piggott Stakes. And normally these type of events, you have a couple rated higher than the rest, but here we've got a decent competitive field.
Yeah, there are 1 or 2 that are shooting high. Scenic and Moogie, those are the ones with the low ratings, aren't they? And when you go through the others, Sea Theme will probably be punted because the team managed to win it last year when it used to be the pinnacle, as you said, and now the Betfred Leicester Piggott Nifty 50. So it's one of those that the team obviously want to win, and they did do with Sea Silk Road. She was mightily disappointed and got really, really warm and sweaty prior to her run when we last saw her. I got down through the Madam Ambassador. she's been getting the better of a couple of these. Carnarvon, 4th in the 1,000, 3rd in the Oaks. What happened to her last time was never at the races at all. But I think Queen of Pride, who's herself out of a St. Ledger winner, and Simple Verse, you remember she won, thrown out, then got it back again, didn't she? And her form at Goodwood behind Gather You Rosebuds, a real hardened campaigner, was a great effort. Can step forward, big improver. What's not to like about Queen of the Pride?
Yeah, like the race as well for Qatar Racing. So Queen of the Pride in the Pinnacle. Then the feature race, the Group 3, Betfred John O'Gaunt Stakes. And the 7 furlong specialist, Jason, around in force here. And again, a decent field, bigger than we usually get for this contest.
Yeah, I think there was only 5, maybe 6, somewhere around that for last season. So 12, hopefully they all go to post, is an absolute cracker. Look, Pogo, if you were part of him, you'd be saying, why, he's always underestimated. Point Linus, how on earth did he manage to keep going at York the other day? But he looked spectacular. Quinault, we all know about his exploits, winning 7. Jumbie, last year's winner, bless him, a Royal Ascot winner. Flight Plan has to carry the penalty for his success over at Leopardstown. And Witch Hunter will be punted. Make no mistake about that. His run at Newbury last time and his previous form is very, very good. But does he be a little bit vulnerable over this trip on quicker sort of ground? I think that's the worry for him. And a horse who can sit handy, has a bit of form over 7 furlongs, and he's always underestimated, but he's an improver. Popmaster is going to be a massive price. He just tracks the pace. Safi Osborne on board for Lawrence Bellman. He's out there. 16, 18, 20, I think, maybe somewhere around that for Popmaster. He's a fascinating each-way player.
They're all fans of Ken Bruce's quiz. Popmaster, then each-way player. Just a word about Tiber Flow. I mean, 24 days ago, that was a horrible fall, a real heavy fall, clipping heels in the Duke of York. Great that he's obviously none the worse for that, and he's back here. But, can that leave a mark?
Well, it can leave a mark confidence-wise, and I think that's why the team are stepping him up to 7 furlongs, so he can able to jump and just travel a little bit, because he always seems to be a little bit behind the bridle or a flat spot over 6 furlongs. But I'm sure you had a tough old tackle back in the day and you dusted yourself down and got up and got on with it. You might have been a little bit nervous, wouldn't you, the first 2 hits afterwards? So, yeah, I wouldn't knock him if his confidence was dented slightly.
Yeah, it was absolutely pearly. Yeah, but great that he bounced up. Okay, so that's the Betfred card at Haydock, an 8-race card, the first 4 in front of the ITV cameras. We head up to East Yorkshire as well, and the Westwood, where Beverley have got a couple of big 2-year-old races, starting with the Hillary Needler at 205, and the most famous winner of this would have been the Great Attraction of Mark Johnson's many years ago. But Queen Mary credentials on the line, a mixture of winners and newcomers in here.
Yeah, a couple of newcomers down the bottom. Havana White, Perfect Part. We will see how they are in the market. But that's interesting, isn't it, for the Brocklesby winning team, Havana White. 180,000 as a juvenile. Could be anything. Will need to be pretty special if she's going to win on racecourse debut. We looked at all of these and there isn't anything that's been really breaking the clock. Certainly nice that Jabra Abdullah has got horses with Mick Appleby now. Nadal Sheba Show. This will give you a pointer to Moving Force, who's likely to be a red-hot favourite a little bit later on the card. They met and bumped into each other. When the winner came down towards the centre of the track on that occasion, I have to say, who's been super unlucky of late? Lift Lady. Started favourite for her maiden at Leicester, ran no race, ducked out left-handed. What happened to her in the Woodcut the other day? Admittedly, she was a big prize, bumped coming out of the gates, keen in behind, got rugby tackled. We've been talking about that. Did well to stand up. I think she's flying massively under the radar. She's going to be a whopping price, but just the type I like. This is just the type of race as well. Improving 2-year-old fillies. Anything can happen.
Yeah, Nick Bradley's actually had a lot of runners this year so far at Beverley. He's got 3 in here, and of course he won the Woodcock with TJ. So yeah, Lift Lady at a massive price then in the Hillary Needler. Much smaller field though for the Colts that go at 240. Maybe looking towards the Norfolk and the Windsor Castle at Royal Ascot, and you mentioned moving force a likely warm order.
Yeah, he did everything. Well, not wrong. He was always dropped in and then switched left-handed, one at the centre of the track. But having a good bit of course and distance form to your name. When I look at the others, the only one that I can see that is going to attract a lot of support down the bottom, Shareholder, €460,000 2-year-old for the Wathnan racing team. Carl Burke had a half brother, I think it was, to Marshman, who was punted off the boards yesterday, a couple of days ago at Ripon, and got beat. So that's a bit of a worry. But I was taken with Regal Gem. His win at Pontefract, beating a pretty decent type of Johnson's, was a really good effort. That was over 6, showed a lot of pace. I always believe second time out, rather than going up in trip, coming back is no problem, especially for the juveniles. And I think Regal Gem's going to serve it up to Moving Force and Shareholder.
Yeah, just a quick word on Richard Fahey as well. Obviously, he's trains Moving Force. 9 winners this week already from 13 to 30s racing. I mean, hottest man in the country so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And the team will be buoyed, won't they? Because Wathnan Racing have come in and spent a fortune buying one of their big guns that'll probably head straight for the Royal Meeting, which is only a couple of weeks away now. So everything's starting to bubble. And yeah, that team, they're absolutely red hot. And it's good to see, isn't it? Oshin Orr and him have really sort of cemented that partnership together now.
They certainly have. Yeah, let's have a look then at the 315. It's a 7 furlong handicap. Big field, and obviously the draw can be quite important here because it's quite a short run to the bend and it's all right hand most of the way, isn't it?
Yes, 7.5 furlongs. It is going to take a mammoth effort from Luke Morris if he's going to get Fool's Rush in from stall number 14 of 16. But that horse is dangerously well handicapped for the Ruth Carr team. He's dropped a long way down the ratings. Can he win from 14? Possibly, but it'll take a big effort. Bound to be a good pace on in here. I thought Sapphire was unlucky last time. And we know with the Julie Camacho team, that squad, they always tend to improve as the season progresses. They're incredibly patient with them. They don't gallop them too hard. And it's all about progression. I think Sapphire was a little bit unlucky at Newcastle last time. Didn't quite get the rub of the green. He's drawn slightly better. Stall 8, middle-ish draw. Can easily get across Ryan Sexton down towards the fence and save at least a little bit of ground. I think Luke Morris, if he manages to win on Full Rush in, be a brilliant effort from the Sir Mark Prescott jockey, but Sapphire sides it or goes with it just because it's got a better draw.
Yeah, for the Elite Racing Club. Right, 7 races on ITV this weekend then, including that Betfred sponsored card of Haydock. What would be your idea of a strongest wager?
I think that I'd love to see Living the Dream win, but he's going to be short. I've had a good look at the big one at Haydock, and I think that Popmaster at the double digits that he is a massive each way price. He's a good 7 furlong horse. He's been running in the Victoria Cup behind the Wizard of Eye, and he had to give everything in the lineup weight. So I think he's ready for the step up in grade, and he could cause a surprise there at a big price.
Yeah, again, Wizard of Eye, of course, going for Group 1 honours, I think, next week at Royal Ascot. So, yeah, could be good form. Right, Jason and I will both be at Haydock then on Saturday afternoon. Looking forward to an 8-race Betfred sponsored card. Whatever you were backing there this weekend, the very best of luck.